my site. I really appreciate it. I'm in my makeshift office right here. This is going to be my story, and I'm going to try to make it real quick in a couple videos, which apparently are kind of difficult to upload. So basically what happened was I got a debt collection letter, and I didn't recognize it, so I called the 800 number, and I found out that the address they had on file was one that was 3,000 miles away and I had never lived at. And I told them, I said, this isn't mine. They completely ignored me, wanted me to pay over the phone, so I hung up. What happened after that was I continued to get the collection letters and I just threw them aside. I'm like, these are idiots. I mean, I already told them it's not my bill. So because I didn't respond in writing, that was my mistake. The next thing I get is service, and 3 days before Christmas I'm served with a lawsuit, and the guy says, you know, are you Robin? And I said, yeah, and he said, well, here you go. I said, what's this? He goes, well, you've been served, Merry Christmas, and that was that. And I was ticked. So I called a friend of mine, and we got together and started thinking about it, you know, and he had told me that there was an idea he had, and it was basically a form that was used in criminal matters, but nobody had ever really designed one for a debt matter that he knew of. So I went ahead and took the format he gave me and came up with a series of questions, and he helped me do this, and so I went ahead and filed it with the court and sent him a copy. Now remember, the debt was just over $5,000. It was like $5,100. The next thing I get is the response, which is nothing. It's 2 pages of nothing. It's got my name, looks like my name, and it's got an account number, and it's got some other jargon, and it's dated 1996, and it makes no sense to me, and it didn't answer one of those questions, not one. And so the lawsuit that I was actually served with, the amount on the collection letters was $5,100. The lawsuit that I was served with said they were suing me for just under $10,000. And so here we have a debt that just doubled. That wasn't even mine, because now they're suing me, so they're going to tack on apparent attorney fees and everything else. So once I sent this letter out and wanted their response by law, because I have that right. That's your right. You have the right to ask them this information. That's your right. And so once I did that, then they went ahead and sent me the paperwork for the next court hearing, revising their original paperwork, and now they're suing me for just under $25,000. So can anyone say retaliation? They're pissed off. Well, I'm pissed off now too. So I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You know, can they do this? But they do it to people all the time. All the time. So I went ahead and on the paperwork it said, you know, the courthouse it was going to be at. So I went ahead and went to the courthouse it was at and walk in and realized they've sent me to the wrong courthouse. Why would they do that? Because they wanted to get a default judgment, and they didn't want to answer the questions. They couldn't answer the questions. I knew that. So so lucky for me, the judge didn't give them a default judgment, because usually that'll happen. If you don't show up to court, they automatically win. And so he went ahead and reset it. So I proceeded to lose that information that I wrote it, you know, wrote it on a little piece of paper and lost it. So I went down the week that I knew the hearing was, and I said to the lady, the clerk, I said, yeah, you know, I have a hearing this week. I said, I think it's either tomorrow or the next day. Can you let me know what time it is? And she looked through the paperwork and she said, oh, well, this has been dropped. I said, excuse me? And she said, yeah. I said, when did they drop it? She goes, yesterday morning. So a couple days before the hearing, they dropped it. And that was awesome. It was awesome, because it showed me that it worked, that this works. Then, of course, I haven't done anything with it. I just use it for myself, you know. And so I was thinking, you know, gosh, you know, a lot of people could use this. Well, as I'm thinking that, the news is on, and I'm sitting there, and they start talking about things that you can do to stop your foreclosure, or at least stall it, with this whole housing crisis. And they start talking about the exact same principle that I have put together in these forms. And I thought, oh my God. So this will help you. And what never really sunk in was that the mortgage companies actually will sell off people that fall behind in their payments or stop making their payments. They'll actually sell it off to the third-party debt collector. So this applies to all bills. This applies to everything. And I never really thought about that. So go ahead and look through the site. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to email me. Eventually I'll be adding a phone number so that you can contact me, and step-by-step help if you need it. And if you just need someone to hold your hand or listen to your event, I can do that too. Thanks.